Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of the
Outspoken Brothers.
My name is Chirag,
And my name is Joshua.
and today we wanted to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of social media. So, Joshua, I think we already spoke beforehand. What are your thoughts on the whole social media nowadays?
Okay, so looking into our society, social media is a very important and fundamental element which is actually for everyone. Probably everyone, all of you use social media, if it's Instagram, TikTok, whatsoever. Social media is used by everyone. So, what's my opinion about it? I find it is very important, since my opinion is one of the most important elements of society looking in our globalized society. So I think social media is very important for social life,
Mm.
to connect with people, if it's networking, to post something, to text, whatsoever. I think is very important. What about you, Shah? Do you use any social media?
Um, I think a little bit. No, actually, I'm very active on social media. But yeah, I think there's a lot of advantages that you can actually use, but it's based on that actually consumer who's in charge of that. So if you want to use it in your profit and in your advantage, and you can do it, but most of them are actually not. They are consuming all day, and you can find a lot of inspiration and nice videos and reels and TikToks and YouTube videos, which will actually help you in your life. But there's also a lot will would just drain your energy. So I think it's like you already said, good for networking. Without social media, I had no business, so I would be not where I would be. And there's a lot of positive advantages. It's free of cost, which will actually come to the conclusion that you are the consumer. But in the other hand, it is free and you can use it for your advantage, and you can actually just create content and eventually also make a living out of it. So I think it's pretty good, and I'm glad that social media came into our lives. But I think the message is not really spread that social media can be also very dangerous.
Yeah.
People think it's just watching videos and entertaining, which is, of course, one fact. But in the other fact, people never looked up all the um, numbers and all of that actually bad things that happen through social media. People had anxiety, people became very depressed. They started to compare themselves with people who they think they will like who they think they are, but in the fact that they are just living that online life, and most of them people who you compare yourself with are actually not even there, so they're actually just faking their life. And then of course you will feel depressed because you're in your little home, you have $20 on your bank account, and then you see someone flexing their Rolex with 60,000 in their hand and in the private jet, and you'll be like, why am I living this miserable life? But in the other hand, you don't know that the jet is rented, and tomorrow you have to have a pay a I don't know 100K bill with his 40,000 bank account, so he's in debt of 60K. You don't know that, but people think they might know everything. So today, I think we will also not just praise the positive side effects of social media, but also of the disadvantage. Everything that I just said, actually, we had in the conversation right before.
Exactly.
So Joshua actually just told me that we were in a discussion about influencing and how much potential there is in social media. And since I'm someone who actually publish a lot, and Joshua is someone who is actually publishing almost to nothing
Yeah.
on Instagram. He's doing a lot of work, but he tried to stay out of grid. Tell me, what is your view on social media?
Okay, so like everything in life, there is the bright and then the dark side. So maybe to make it more simple, we will first talk about the bright side. My opinions, like I said, social media is vital, is fundamental, is very important. Every corporate company or any type of business look for social media people, especially in the sense of marketing. Social media is the magic bullet of marketing. Every company needs people, social media people to help them for the marketing part because they know all the audience consume all the information in the social media they scroll through. So for business, social media is very important. That's my opinion, and that's a bright side of social media. Maybe to show a better way and description of social media, we can slowly talk about how social media benefited from Shirak and Ian. Of course, this episode is interesting because we have somebody who does full influencing and is very into the social media, and somebody like me who uses it for business but is not really into the influencer side. So we'll start with Shirak, and you can talk about how you use social media in the sense of business and how you can profit from it.
So yes, as you might know, I have the one channel which is chiragkohli, where I gain a lot of almost gain a little community I can establish over a certain period of time, and I have my social media marketing agency. Both of what I do, which is actually gaining my money and where I'm actually making a living out of it, would be never there without social media. So I actually had to work a 9 to 5 and would be not traveling the world while making money. And that's one thing. I actually gained a lot of money and a lot of networking through social media, through a certain point where I actually don't even had to reach out to clients, but they would reach out to me, which is exactly something that people would dive for in the marketing or agency business or just in business in general, since that's the most important to actually gain clients. And I was at a point where I actually did a lot of cold calls each day. I wrote over hundreds to thousands of emails to people to actually showcase them my services, to promote what I do, and got zero comments back. Zero. I never get any yes. Besides, most of them don't even said no. So that's the one thing. And now I have people who are not just interested in what I do, but who are also willing to pay. So it's like, it's like a magnet. You're attracting the perfect target audience if you're playing it on the right way. I kind of found my way in that situation, that niche, over a certain period of time. I started with day in the life videos, just showcasing how I actually studied, how I worked in 9 to 5, my daily life, and then I tapped into that self development niche, um, entrepreneurship, and I just actually just showcase my life, my journey, and people were interested in it. To that point where I actually also could gain jobs as a model, jobs as a content creator, and also level up my business and my marketing agency. So I think if you play the social media marketing game right, you can make a huge amount of money and actually live your dream life. That's on one hand, and that's where I actually see the potential. On the other hand, when I also started to create and publish content, I had to be on that specific app. And if you're on that specific app, you're one click away from watching another video. So it's a double-edged sword, like Joshua already said. And it's not just for me about making money, because if something is playing with my mental health, I cut it off. And there were several times where I went into a detox, even though it was not good for my business. I did it because it was good for my mental health, and I had to do it several times in just 1 year, because I just realized that this is very addictive and it's very hard to manage to be just a creator instead of a consumer. But speaking from a someone who's not on social media, how would you see that double-edged sword?
So exactly like Shirak, like he explained, social media is perfect, especially for business. I always like to say that there's a generational gap, I like to call it, between young people and more the older generation. So usually in business, the majority of CEOs or high executive level officers or whatsoever, they're always much older than we are. So the older generation don't really understand social media. So that's the perfect advantage for the younger generation to profit because they have more knowledge in social media. So that means that they can run marketing companies, like for example, Shirak. They can create content creation, influencers. Many businesses like to work with influencers together. So to Shirak's question, for me personally, my brother and I, we run one of our companies is a social media marketing company, very similar to Shirak's. What we love to do is we love to do production videos for F&B companies or whatsoever. So we would do production videos for them, record their food if it's F&B, or record their products if it's some shop or whatsoever. And then we would also run their social media account. And for some clients, we also do the marketing, in a sense that we try to like make people come to the restaurant. So we would create for them posters, we create for them calendar systems. And this is all connected to social media. And that's how my brother and I, that's how our company profit. We profit through social media, and then we meet clients who, like I mentioned, have no idea about social media. So we take advantage of this knowledge gap and we jump into the knowledge gap and say, hey, we have knowledge about social media you guys don't have. So let us run your social media. And that's exactly how many people can profit. And not only Shirak or me or I and my brother, but also for you all who are watching. And yeah, that's how we profit with social media. We also were a little bit into the talent management. Talent management is a little bit more difficult. Is if you have a lot of influencers and then you try to manage them and you bring them to events and then you profit from that sense. You bring them advertisement, but therefore you get a small percentage. That is something me and Julian also slowly started, but still not finalized. So there's a few future projects and few contracts waiting. So hopefully I can update soon about that. But like you all can see, there's a lot of ways to profit in social media. If it's marketing, which we do, if it's modeling, influencing what Chirag or my brother Julian does, there's a lot of potential, especially for our generation, to do in social media.
That's true.
So Chirag, would you say that social media is a fundamental element in a sense only for business, or can it also be very important or healthy in a social aspect or in any other subcategory?
Yes, so generally speaking, it might even sound quite ironic. I'm not a fan of social media. I actually also just recently deleted again Instagram off of my phone. Of course, since I have a lot of clients online and I need to take care of their Instagram as well, I have it on my laptop running. But for me, I decided not to consume. And since I'm also actually following no one, even though I'm on my Instagram, I almost get zero distractions. But I would say you can actually, it is very profitable for business. If you are not a business owner and never seek to have any kind of relationship from social media in according to any business field or venture that you want to open, I don't think there's uh anything that should actually keep you on that app. Because if you say, oh yeah, social media is good for me because I will stay in contact with my family and I see their pictures and I will like and write a comment, oh, you look so cute in your new dress, that's a good thing. But if you really care about someone, and if you really care about your family, you can also give them a call. You can video chat with them over WhatsApp, over Zoom. If you're really interested in someone, you can actually still see them and still check up on them. But what social media does is it makes things very effortless and very easy. So you can just like 10 different pictures from 10 different family members. So they think, oh yeah, he's thinking about me. He likes, even writes a comment, even though you don't care. So I think social media is no use for someone who is not interested in any of that business or entrepreneurship, or maybe for someone who's not in that creative space, because on social media you get a lot of inspiration, be it just in a creative mindset or just anything about creativity. Anything other than that, no one ever out there should use social media. That's a fact that I stand for, and that's a message that I actually want to spread. Because you might not even notice it, but subconsciously you train your mind to compare yourself with everyone. There's you have that urge to show your life or how good you are living. You have to be on top. You have to check your status. You have to check your followers. You have to check your likes, your comments. And then if one of your family members or good friends is not liking your post, you think there's something wrong. If he's not commenting onto your picture, you think there's a big, it's just talk to them person. You can call them. You can, if you really care, you can even walk up to their door and knock on their door. How are you doing? Let's go for a coffee. I think that's something where you actually are bonded to someone and where you actually show how much you love them. Because on social media, having 3,000 followers and following 500 people, I don't care that you actually care about all of them 500 people that you follow. That's way too much. We're not designed, a human being is not designed to have so many social contacts to care about all of them 24/7. So I think you should actually use your time wiser, but spend it with more quality. So maybe just reach out to two persons, but do it with your whole heart. Call them, give them a message, ask them how they're really doing, meet with them in person like we do.
Mm.
We could just like each other. He's always, but I remember back then, he's the one who's always supporting me. But that's not all what counts. He's always there. When I call him, he picks up. He's calling me. He's leaving tomorrow. I came yesterday. It's so easy to just say, you know what, just, I don't know, hop on a call. But we meet, we give each other's time, because actually that's what love is. He's like my brother. That's why I love him so much. And that's where we actually show each other's appreciation, not by just liking. That's one thing, and that's wonderful that you can do, but it's way more. So social media is wonderful to, if people say, oh yeah, I can see what he's doing in the other part of the world, it's wonderful, but I don't think it's necessary to just narrow it down to only social media. Yeah, that's my point. What do you think?
Yes, I definitely first exactly. I give everything what Chirag said about me back to Chirag. Always support me, love him also. We're always there for each other, and we will always be, and we always will be there for each other. But now when we talk about social media, what I really think is a big problem is the aspect of social interactions. If you're too often in social media, you will have problems to social interact with somebody. And it can be seen in many ways. For example, like Chirag said, in social media, you compare yourself with a lot of people. We see that with women comparing themselves with many beautiful women, or we see if it's men comparing themselves with other men. So what does that do? That makes you insecure. So if you go out of social media and then you go to the real world and you want to be social, then you will always think about, oh, that beautiful woman, if you're a girl, that beautiful girl I saw on Instagram, I want to be like her. Oh, I'll put so much makeup. I have to look in the mirror every 10 seconds. No confidence, don't know how to socialize. You're becoming awkward. All of this because you're just on social media comparing with someone. Similar to men. Men can feel pressure. Oh, this guy's flying a private jet. I also want a private jet. I'm going to pressure myself to be that type of person. And me and Shira can tell you, you will never find success like that. If you compare yourself and be like, I want to be as successful as him, I'm going to work my ass off, you're not going to achieve anything because you're comparing yourself and you only want to achieve a goal because you want to be like that person. Instead of thinking, oh, I want to achieve myself to be financially, get the most potential I can financially, physically, whatsoever. No, you're comparing yourself with someone, and that's why you're doing all of this. And this happens because you're just scrolling on social media, comparing yourself with other people. And I can say I went through the same thing. I would scroll hours on TikTok, and then when it's time to go out in the real world and network, oh, I have problems talking. Oh, I can't speak to that person. Oh, I can't do public speaking. Oh, I can't do this because I'm so used to texting with people on my Instagram DMs. But if I meet that person in real life, I can't even talk to that person. I would text with somebody on my DM and then meet that person later, and I couldn't even talk to that person like I talked to that person on social media. So you know what I mean? In the sense that you text with somebody different. I mean, I'm sure you guys ever met you texting with somebody, if it's a friend or whatsoever. But when you meet them in real life, you barely talk to them because you don't know what to do. But even texting, you know what to do. So there's this barrier that you don't know how to socialize. And I had this problem, and especially me, who's a little bit more introverted than extroverted. I had this problems that I couldn't socialize, but on social media I can socialize. So for what? So that's what I mean with social problems. And if we can look in physical problems, I study communication in Malaysia, and we always talk about social media. And I can tell you guys that 99% of the studies we do only talks negative about social media. And it's so ironic. I study communication, but the studies are showing me that social media is bad. So the studies are showing that it's bad, even though I'm studying it. So that shows to me like, okay, I'm not going to do social media. I have to prove, I have the studies, I have the experience. For business, yes. For social life, no. So that's how my opinion. And then if you look physically, I look at the psychological report from America that said that the majority of men, especially, I think it was every few years, I think it was every 100 years, they losing testosterone. So the studies showed that our grandfather's generation, grandparents at their generation had more testosterone than an average young person in our generation. So think about it. An average young man has less testosterone than an average grandfather 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. A grandfather has more testosterone than you. Think about it. And why? It's because people are getting lazy. We're getting lazy because we're just on social media, scrolling, doing that the whole day. Instead of going out, we're getting lazy. We're not doing a lot of movements. So that's why our testosterone's dropping. We're subconsciously hunters and gatherers. So we are programmed to move around. If we're just sitting the whole day and scrolling, you're against your biological factors. So what does that do? That drops your testosterone. Back to the studies I said before. So biologically, it's not helping. Socially, it's not helping. For business, yes, it's helping. So that's why my opinion is still very, very balanced. What do you think about the social factors, Shirak, of social media?
That's true. Actually, I think the same, and I also, like Joshua, experienced it. I experienced it as well. Back then, I actually remember how before that career, I actually also had a short. I don't know if you remember the TikTok career that I had,
Oh
where
yeah, yeah, I remember.
I posted like a bunch of random videos, and then once I just got viral, and then I went on to live streams. I think it was like 2021, like 3, 4 years ago. So that was like my, not even 5 years maybe. That was my first start into that social media. Before then, I had a huge gap since I actually really deleted all of my social media channels. Or maybe it was the, no, I think it was even, yeah, it was after that, because I had really problems to talk. Because if you actually talk, if you just use onto writing and texting and ha 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 this and that, how can you actually, no, I'm just not talking, just not, maybe not just about the topics, maybe you have a lot of interesting topics to talk about, but your body language, you never thought about that body language. Insane, huge topic. It's, I think once the fact said, I think maybe you talk 80% or even more than 80% with your body language. Non-verbal communication is 80%. Then your actual verbal communication is 20% in a normal conversation.
Yeah.
So you actually talk more with your body language, something that you use zero online and you need it in real life. So there I had the problems. How can I stand? How can I actually face? Should I face her like this? Where should I look in my eyes? Should I look into her eyes on her? All of these problems, I had them. And then I understood, okay, maybe it's better to actually push back on that because it's not useful. If you look the social factors, it's not useful. If you look the business factors, people are losing their businesses because they're so addicted to social media. So I would say a clear no to all of the factors besides one, which is the business factors. And the business factor is very hard to attain since you're still on that app. It's not a different app, you're on the same app, but you have to narrow your usage down. So you have to force yourself to not use it in a bad way. I tried it by unfollowing everyone. I tried it by putting a screen time on it. So after a certain period, your phone says no, but there's way much more that you have to do to actually attain it. Don't use your phone in the morning, don't use it in the evening, don't use it then, and use it with a business mindset. If you're on it, you can find everything. It's a window into the open world, but watch it from the business perspective. Answer to DMs, put your email on it. I actually try to stay off it the most days. And if I work for clients, I work for them only. And there's an app where I schedule everything. So I barely actually consume. And that's what keeps me healthy. So I think a clear no to all of the factors besides business. And yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, sure gave a very good point. In my cases, where I deleted TikTok, I deleted Instagram. So what happened? I always went on YouTube then. So my subconscious brain is always looking for other social media. So then I noticed that I'm wired to always find a type of media to get my dopamine release, to look at the videos. So it was so funny. I told Shirak that I had like this app because on every Android user, you can't delete YouTube. So YouTube is always there. So I had to find an app that blocks apps. So I found an app that blocks YouTube.
Oh,
So then when you go on the app, it will tell you how often you press on the app. So then I remember the first day I downloaded, where I deleted all my social media and then I blocked YouTube. The first day I went 26 times on YouTube, even though it's blocked. I know YouTube is blocked, but I always went on YouTube. So how was it? I would just go on YouTube. Oh, it's blocked. So I'm wired to always seek some type of attention medium. I really want to see something. I want to release my dopamine and all of that, which is, in my opinion, not good. Like we said, social factors not good, biologic factors not good. All of these factors are not good. And I can really say, as a communication student, reading all the articles, reading all the research, it always says social media is bad. And if you can't control yourself, like in anything else, if there's addiction and there's no factors of you controlling it, then you're going to lose your mind. And the funny thing is, the majority of people, especially in our generation, they don't even think about it. For them, it's normal. I remember when I still played football, I had some training camp. It was with the Malaysian national team. And the thing is, I used to, right now I don't, but I used to have sleeping problems. So I could barely sleep. So at the training camp, I was awake till like 4 in the morning, training at 6. And then I was awake, and the whole time I would go to the bathroom. That's what people who couldn't sleep would usually do. They just go to the bathroom, bathroom back. So that's what I did. And then when I was walking 3 in the morning, I saw almost everyone was awake. Sure, guess what everyone was doing? Exactly. Everyone was scrolling on TikTok and Instagram. In my mind, I was like, oh, they're not awake because they couldn't sleep like me a long time ago. They're awake because they're scrolling on social media. Can you guys think about that? And they don't even think it's addiction. The first thing they do at the morning is scroll. The first thing they do at night before they sleep is scroll. Is always scrolling. As soon as they are alone, they're scrolling. Think about all the social factors. Bring that person to a restaurant and tell them to eat alone. They're just gonna eat like this.
That's true.
They don't know how to socialize. They have to look on their phone because for them it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to be out of the phone. I was like that in the future. Now I go to the cinema alone sometimes. I eat in a restaurant alone sometimes if I want to. But I don't need my phone. But the majority of other people do need their phone. They don't know how to socialize.
That's true. They're very uncomfortable without their phone. They're lost without their phone. That's so true. And that's something that, even the new generation, they don't even know what it is without a phone,
Exactly.
Sometimes, actually, that's a very good thing that you just mentioned. I did it when I was like 7 months ago, and then I stopped it, and now I do it again. Actually, I tried to, you do it. Because actually, I think yesterday I wrote him, and it was like one tick. I was like, no way, he's not, he's the first one waking up. He can't be just, sleeping. I think like he also put his airplane mode while sleeping. So and I thought no, he needs to be awake. And I wrote him, and then I don't know, he messaged me I think at like 10 or 11. I was like, oh, that's late. But of course I knew, and of course it just, he just agreed on that he's not using his phone in the morning hours, which is the perfect thing to do because the people are getting up, scrolling, getting dopamine hits, and are not even willing to get up in the morning. They are already feeding their dopamine levels on such a high level that they can't even get, satisfaction from eating a delicious breakfast, for example, or enjoying the sun or whatever, And not using your phone in the morning is that one aspect where you can actually decrease the dopamine hits, but also the other aspect where you have so much time. If you wake up, your mind is refreshed. It's a new day. It's a new start. All of your energy is there. Whatever task that you need to accomplish, you can tackle it. You can narrow it down. You can dimension where people are still sleeping or scrolling on Instagram. And that's why I think it's a very good idea to not use your phone in the mornings and evenings, because these are one of the most precious time, because the evening sets your day for the next day. You can schedule your day. You can rewind. You can actually look back of what you accomplished, what you haven't accomplished, schedule your day for tomorrow, see what needs to be accomplished the same day, maybe even accomplish that, and everything else. So the evening and the mornings are perfect. In the midday, of course, sometimes you catch yourself, but I think if you narrow it down to maybe one screen hour a day, I think it's still in a certain area. And I'm thinking about 1 hour per day on your whole screen time is a very good number to go with.
Yeah.
And maybe also schedule a day in the week where you use really zero phone. I think that's a very good thing to do, because you can always find a way. If it's certain calls that you have to take, you can switch your number to an old flip phone, get it for $10. If you need any emails to answer, you can do it on your laptop. So there's always a lot of ways where you can actually, where there is a will, there's a way. So
Yeah, I agree with that. There's a very famous saying that everyone has a life, but nobody is really alive. And I can see
that, yeah.
Amen. And I can see that exactly in social media, that everybody has a life, but nobody's really living their life. No one's really alive because everybody's having their life on social media. And sometimes just observing. I don't know if you guys ever take a walk, but for example, take a walk without your phone and just start observing the world. And then you'll notice how beautiful the world is, how big everything is, and nobody actually cares what you're doing on social media. Nobody cares on the influencer who bought her followers and are blocking her likes on her posts. Everyone knows it's fake. Nobody cares about that type of person. Nobody cares about what Kylie Jenner is eating for breakfast. Nobody cares about that. And if you guys really take time and start observing and looking at stuff, then you guys will realize, oh, life is actually beautiful. Life is so natural. Life has this amazing flow. This flow is not on social media. I always believe that there's energy in our life, and a lot of this energy is getting wasted on social media. But if you can use this energy to work on yourself mentally, physically, if you can work on yourself with your business and everything, and use the flow of energy the right way, then you'll achieve success in any type of way you want to achieve success. And I feel like that social media is blocking that way. And if you guys think about hyper successful people, if it's Elon Musk or if it's a president or anyone, very successful people, trust me, they're not scrolling the whole day in social media because they don't have the time to scroll their whole day on social media. So what is the difference between you and them? What's the difference between you and the 0.1? The difference is right now is that social media is blocking it because they know how to control their emotions with social media, with other factors also, but you can't control your emotion with social media. Every time you have to go on social media and attach your emotion, have to scroll, have to do this, have to post, do that. Do you think successful people really have the time to do that? Of course, there are some successful people who use social media, but if you guys think about it, even super, super successful influencers, most famous influencer, Cristiano Ronaldo, most followed person on Instagram, I bet most of you guys know that actually somebody runs his account. He usually doesn't use so often Instagram. Of course, he does sometimes with live stream, with some posts, which is obvious he's with his family. But the majority of the posts, he has somebody who runs his social media account. The same thing goes with entrepreneurs. You think every entrepreneur has social media account of their business if it's successful? No, they hire social media people to do that because they know it's a time waste to always post something on social media. So why are you all wasting your time? If it's for family, okay, I understand. But like Shirak said, you can always call your family or you can meet them, socialize. How often did you guys meet a friend that you're texting every day, even though you guys live close? Me and Shirak, we live thousands of kilometers away. And if we have the time, we still meet. So what is the difference? Why don't you guys also do that? So that's why Shirak and I, we see social media as a very negative way. But of course, if it comes to business, it's very positive. But you guys have to learn how to control yourself. My tip is, especially for people who do influences, is to have two phones. You put all social media on one phone, and then your other phone is just for your WhatsApp, for your telephoning. So that's where you socialize on chat. And for the social media, if you do, for example, business connected to social media, then you can do it on the other phone. And then if you, for example, go out, you just leave the one phone at home and you take a walk or you go to the gym or you go jogging whatsoever. Because if you have all social media on my phone, in my opinion, you're anyway going to bring your phone everywhere. So the chances of you to jump on the social media is very high. But if you have two phones and you put one phone away, okay, this is my phone where everyone texts me. I'm going to bring that to the gym. If any emergency, my phone is there. There's no emergency in social media. So that's why you can use the media phone at home.
That's true.
That's a good tip I can give for people with the social media. Is there any other tips or advice you can give, Shira?
Amazing good tip. And I think I will also try to get a phone maybe as soon as possible. And yeah, I think it's very good to maybe to just have that, maybe just to, if you just listen to that message, maybe that's all that matters, because just having that thought in your mind that that social media has that disadvantage and is very actually dangerous, that's enough to have, because now your view will completely change on that social media aspect. There's also a nice book I think that I wrote about the social media detox, or there's also the Netflix series, the Social Dilemma.
Watch is very good.
Yeah. So it just helps you to understand that what social media actually is. And imagine Instagram or Meta is worth what? How many billions? You know? How is that possible for an app to be free of cost to worth billions of dollars? That's impossible. And just understand why they are making money. Why are they making money? It's because of you. The more you are on that phone, the more you are consuming the content, the more money they make. And do you think they will? Yeah, it's good maybe that you will only watch the content 1 hour. No, they want you to watch 24/7 because the more you watch, the more money they make.
More
And
ads
they,
come on it.
exactly, and they want to make money. And they will invest billions into an algorithm which will actually hook you on that platform for ages, for hours, just to make money. And for you to understand that you are just a consumer. That's it. That's all that counts. You're a number, and they want your number to rank all the way up because then you will make more money for them, and that's all that matters. They don't care about anything else. Of course, it's a very good and amazing platform. It's free. You can actually make it, and there's a lot of stories from people that went from, I don't know, being a brokey into a multi-million dollar business just through social media, and there's the potential. And actually we're also spreading the message to actually start, but we're not spreading the message to just consume our content without taking actions. If you watch that video, it's good, but if you're just watching it and then watch another one and not taking actions, that's a waste of time. So if you watch that content, if you are following us on social media, it's cool, but maybe just use that information that we spread and the message that we spread for your advantage and start something. Because if you start nothing, it's a waste.
True.
So that's all that I want to add to this beautiful conversation.
Yeah, like Shirk said, you're literally a rat in a cage, and the cage is the algorithm that's just feeding you information where all your dopamine is getting released, scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. In Malaysia, especially with my company, we worked with a lot of executive level TikTok offices in Southeast Asia, and I can tell you they all don't have TikTok. All the high levels don't have TikTok because they know exactly what TikTok. It doesn't have to be TikTok; it can be any social media. They know exactly what it's doing to your mind. And all the people we worked with, they would all be like, "Oh, so you also use TikTok?" And he was a high position. I won't mention his name. He was a high position, executive level in TikTok Malaysia. And he looked at me. He's like, "I don't use TikTok, Joshua." So that already shows me like a guy who's working for TikTok in a high position is not using TikTok. Why is he not using? Because he knows exactly the negative side effects towards it. And if you guys don't control yourself, then you guys will fall into the negative side effects. But Chirag also mentioned another good point. Instead of being the one who's addicted, why don't you take advantage of what the system is? You take advantage of it, you create a business. If you want to be an influencer, but of course, influencer, you have to watch that you also don't get addicted, or you're creating a social media marketing, content creation company, or creating ads, marketing for Facebook ads, Instagram ads. You can take all these advantages and profit and make money out of it like we are doing. And instead of just scrolling, you guys can make money and you guys can take the advantages. And I just find I don't know, I just find the topic social media is like it's hard because it's like it's so negative, but there's also positive sides, especially in business about it. And it gives me a very balanced opinion about social media. But yeah, but for me, the tip wise with one phone and the other phone is very smart. What Chirag mentioned before, if you put a timer, there's beautiful apps where, oh yeah, I think in Apple you can do it, where you just put a timer and then when you achieve the time, then you can't go on social media. So that is something that helps. For me, I honestly admit it, that didn't help for me because I was so addicted. My Instagram would be blocked and I would be on TikTok for hours and that would be blocked. And then I would be on YouTube for hours and that got blocked. And if not, then I would lose my mind. So for me, I was like, okay, I have to take 100% break to like not be on Instagram, not be on this. Sometimes I admit I do download my Instagram back because like Shirak says in business, a lot of clients text. Usually clients don't text me on Instagram, but there are very rare cases which I go on Instagram to check my DMs if anyone texted me anything to keep them updated, and I'll quickly delete it before I start scrolling. That's something I do. And yeah, from my point, that's it. There's a lot of potential in social media, a lot of dark side of social media. And yeah, any input from your side, Chirag?
No, I think I will only add two things. First, if you really want to use it for your business, laptop or your Mac would be the best
I agree.
gear to go
100%.
for. You can also actually use some Chrome extensions to get rid of unused or um, yeah, unnecessary ads that you will gain if you're on YouTube or whatever. There's a lot of nice things that you can actually do to narrow it down to just do it for your business. There's also, I think, the Meta Business Suite now, which is very, very new, where you can actually just go on to it, schedule your content, leave the app without even getting one bit of any knowledge from anyone. So it's very good for everyone who's not into that consuming side. And I want to actually share one line that actually stuck into my mind for ages, which
What's the
is
line?
create over consume. That's something that I always want to go for.
Ooh,
So
that's a good one.
it's simple, COC, but you can consume over create. You can create over consume. So if you follow that one liner, you're good to go. Because if you create always more than you can consume,
Then that's where you find success.
exactly. So I think we are done with this episode.
Yeah, from my side, my last side, I think that you guys should always work on yourself, achieve the highest potential, and it can be achieved if you can balance your social media. And I think that's it from our side. Hopefully, this helped you all. And
the Outspoken Brothers are back. We're never gone. We never break up. We haven't been there, I think, a year.
yeah, 1 year it didn't meet. I think 6-9 months we didn't post. But we will always, even though we don't post or we don't meet, the podcast, our YouTube will always be there to help you all. And that's our main goal of our podcast, to help you guys achieve the best potential you guys can achieve. And yes, thanks for listening, everyone. And see you soon.
See you soon. Nice, brother.